Hey guys, I'm Evan. Welcome to Country View Solar. So I've been running my entire house off of the 12,000 XP by EG4 since about New Year's Eve. Everything's really gone like flawlessly, no problems, no alarms, except for snow on my solar panels in the wintertime. That really caused me a lot of headaches. And the only other problem I have is I don't think I still have enough battery storage. You can see I've actually got 4 of these wall mount batteries up here. And what I want to do is I want to add a few more. There are some days where we get, even in the wintertime, like in February and January, we got enough solar that we fully charged this battery bank and it clipped the solar. It had nowhere to put it. So I could have had extra batteries to put that energy. And I know as we get longer days in the summertime, we're definitely going to not use all the solar that we have. So I want some batteries to put it in, and then we can go a lot more days without having to switch to the grid, and hopefully we can run our entire house off of just solar. So over here I've got just enough wall space where I can put up 2 more batteries, and they're not going to be EG4 batteries. These are going to be some batteries companies have sent me to test. So I ended up buying a wall mount kit so that I can hang another battery up here on the wall. Now it's not going to be quite as big as this battery, but it's still going to be a pretty heavy battery to hang up on the wall. And then I've got another battery to put down here on the floor, and it's actually slightly bigger than these. These are 280 amp hours. I've got a 314 amp hour battery that I want to put down here on the floor. So I want to try to get both of those hooked up today. It is a really sunny day. I'm not sure exactly what time it is, but all of the batteries are already charged up to 100%. We're already maxed out on our storage. This is a good day to add the batteries. So this is the SunGold Power 200 amp hour. It's kind of like a wall mount battery. I mean, it's really, when it comes from the factory, it's got rubber feet on it. It's made to sit on the floor. It's got some brackets here so you can attach it to the wall so it won't tip over. But you can hang it on the wall, and you have to order a separate wall mount bracket. And I did that. It cost me about $80. So you have this piece right here that you mount to the wall to hang the battery. It's actually fairly, I mean, this is like 1/8 thick steel, powder coated gray. It's actually a really heavy piece of metal. So this is gonna mount to the wall. It's got 4 anchor bolts that go in it. And then you have some pieces to mount to the back of the battery. And this didn't come with any instructions, but I think I can figure it out. I think it's pretty straightforward. So it's got 2 of these brackets. They got like a hook on them to hook onto that bracket on the wall. So I think you take these 2 brackets, it mounts to the back of the battery, probably, there's some bolt holes right here, so about this height. And then I have these 2 brackets as well. They got 2 screw holes in them. I think these are just standoffs. I think these are spacers basically. And yeah, there's a couple holes down here at the bottom. So they're gonna go on the battery, I think vertical like this, toward the bottom, and then that'll help stand it off from the wall so it's straight up and down. And I'm gonna go ahead and get these brackets attached. We'll get the bracket up on the wall, try to figure out what the right height is. And you wanna mount the highest battery first. Cause yeah, you couldn't put the battery on second because the bottom battery would be in the way. So I'm gonna go ahead, we'll get these brackets on, and then we're gonna use the lift cart and try to lift this in place. Now I've already got this thing charged to 100%. I've got some of the EG4 battery cables on here, so it's got the exact same size, exact same length, exact same cables that are on all of the EG4 batteries. So that's matched up perfectly. I know the battery itself is not matched up perfectly. It's a little bit smaller sized. And we'll kind of go over some of that later in the effects it's going to have not having matching batteries. But this still will add to my battery storage. So on the back of the battery, there are 4 threaded holes on each side. And then you've got this hook bracket. And of course, it's got several holes in it. It's actually made so it can mount on either side. So you just got to match it up to the holes and put the screws in. All right, I've got both hanger brackets mounted to the back of the battery. I also have the little standoff brackets mounted at the bottom. And then I've got the wall mount bracket that we actually have to hang on the wall. And the way this would work is it would be on the wall, and then it would hook up inside of here, and you can see it's captive. The battery can't slide off. Now on this wall mount bracket, one thing I would probably critique is in American construction, wall studs are typically 16 inches apart. And the holes, outer holes, are 19 inches. And then this hole is about 12 3/4. So none of these holes line up with a normal wall stud that we would have in an American wall. Now what you could probably do is just drill holes wherever you need them to line up with your studs. But for me, I was able to do something a little bit different. One thing is behind this drywall, this is fire rated drywall, and behind it is 3/4 inch plywood, which is fairly solid to drill into. And then I was able to line up this bracket with one of the studs, and I still have access to the back side of this wall. So this was the stud I was able to line up to, and then I put in an extra stud here in the wall. So I'm gonna have 2 lag bolts and 2 studs, and then I'll have 2 lag bolts just into the 3/4 inch plywood. I think that's gonna be good enough, at least for me. So I've already got my wall all marked out on where my screws are gonna go. I'm maxed out. Well, I'm trying to make it where these batteries like match up on the wall fairly even. And this cart was not able to lift up this battery without having a couple 2x4s on it. So I added 2x4s to this, but this hook is way deeper. I'm pretty sure it's way deeper. But anyway, I'm gonna have to add another set of 2x4s on here, and then hopefully we can get it on the bracket. This is definitely, I got my wife actually here in the background. She's helped me position this on the cart, so it's definitely a 2-person job. You sure? Because I've got it lifted. Is the board's lifting too? It must be.
It's on it a little bit, but not. Yeah, the board's lifted. Okay, now.
It's gonna slide forward. Oh yeah, we made it that time. Yep, we are. I'm gonna let it down. Should go right in the bracket. All right, it's on the wall. Whew. A little sketchy, right? Thank you for your help. Didn't want your husband to get killed. Well, I will say, I think I was trying to get the bottoms of these to line up. They're pretty close, pretty close. I think this one, actually I think I mounted this one about 1/4 inch higher, which probably, of course, didn't help hanging it. All right, I got the battery cables from the SunGold power battery, ran into the conduit box for the EG4 battery and hooked up. Now this black wire just reached. You can see it's kind of straight and taut. That's not ideal. So I had to hook it up this way because ideally what I would have done is I would have used this top conduit hole, and I would have stubbed out a conduit that would have came out over this battery, and then I would have fed both of these wires through that conduit across. But my wire is not long enough. So I've got it hooked up the way it'll work now. To do what I was talking about, I'll have to get some quick connectors and make some longer cables and get it hooked up that way. But this is actually about high enough where you can't reach it anyway. So I think this will work for the time being. I'm gonna go ahead and we'll turn the SunGold power battery on. There we go, it's booting up. You can see I think it says 99%, pretty much 100%. This screen, the light blues and stuff, I think it's really hard to read. All right, now for the next battery. This is actually a DIY battery. This is one you put together. So this is a battery kit from Yixiang Energy. Honestly, the display on here, this is one of my favorite displays. It may not have as much information as you can possibly have, but it is very clear, very easy to read, nice and bright, and it's responsive, easy touchscreen. I do like this DIY battery kit. So the way this one is built is it has the connections on the side. So we're just going to route these battery cables up into this conduit box. All right, we got the Yixiang battery hooked up, battery cables coming up into the conduit box, hooking up to this battery. Go ahead and turn our breaker on. And you can see this battery is 99%, so all our batteries are fully charged. So now as we look at the solar power room, it's pretty much filled up. I think I got the storage maxed out here. I do still have some room up here, I guess, if I wanted to add another battery, but it would be very difficult to lift one up on the wall up here because I've already got a battery in place. I would have to take this battery out to put one up here, more than likely. And then that means I'd have to disconnect all the wiring between it and the other batteries. It'd end up being a mess, but I'm pretty happy. I think this is gonna be a really nice amount of storage. So the total battery storage we have now is we have 4 of these 280 amp hour batteries. We have a 200 amp hour battery, and then we have the 314 amp hours. That's 1,634 amp hours. So then you take that times the 51.2 volts, and then you divide that by 1,000 to get your kilowatt hours. And then that is 83.66 kilowatt hours of storage here. And our current usage per day at our house, this is right now during March, is around 40 kilowatt hours, or maybe a little bit less. So I've got at least 2 full days of storage in these batteries. Now, typically I only use 70% of the battery, and that means I'm gonna use about 58.5 kilowatt hours that I have usable each day. And then the rest of that is saved for emergencies. Basically, if we lose power and we don't have any backup, we have some extra battery storage in there if we need it. And right now, in March, we have gone, the longest we have gone is 5 days off grid without switching to the power grid. So that's good. Now that we've added a couple more batteries, I'm hoping that we can almost go continuously off grid. We ought to be a lot closer, especially now that we're heading into March. Days are getting longer. I really think that as we go into like April and summer, that we will be completely off grid on our house. At least that's what I'm hoping. Now there are some downsides to adding batteries to your battery bank that aren't the same brand, that aren't really the exact same battery. One of the downsides is going to be it doesn't communicate. So these batteries are not communicating with the battery bank. So when the 12,000 XP, it uses that communication to determine what the state of charge is. So it only sees these 4 EG4 batteries, and it uses that state of charge to know when to switch off of batteries and over to the grid when they get low. And then it also knows when to switch back to batteries. When it gets it back up to a certain state of charge, it'll switch back to the batteries. So these batteries are not gonna show up in the state of charge battery bank, but they do add additional storage that the 12,000 XP can use. And of course, without communication, you're not gonna see any of the data from these batteries in the application or on the computer when you monitor the system. All of these EG4 batteries communicate back, and you can actually see all the battery cell voltages. You can see all of their state of charge, and you can all monitor that from your phone or from your computer. And of course, you're not going to see any of this. Now, ideally in a battery bank, you want all your batteries to really be the same size, and you really want them to be like the same battery cells. That way they all function and kind of work together the way they should. Now this battery is only 200 amp hours. It's smaller. This one is 314 amp hours. It's actually bigger. So ideally they're not the same. This one, since it's smaller, may provide less energy. So these batteries would end up you know, draining quicker than this one would. And this battery down here, it's bigger. It may want to try to provide more energy, but then there's also the distance factor. It's farther away electrically through the cabling to the 12,000 XP. And typically the batteries that are closest to the inverter electrically by length of wire, those are the ones that drain the fastest. And then these drain a little bit less and they get a little bit out of balance. And that's why you want your battery bank to fully charge back up, because that'll balance everything back out. But on the positive side, they are adding more storage. So these batteries will not drain as fast as they did before. They will last longer. Even though it doesn't see the state of charge of these will drain slower than they do before. And we should get more battery life, or more longer length of time using this battery bank. But even though these batteries don't match, they don't communicate, I think just having the extra battery storage is worth adding them. And if I end up getting some other batteries over time that better match, or maybe even communicate, I may swap these out later on. But for right now, I'm going to leave these in here. We're going to let this system run for a while. We're going to see how much better it does with the added storage. So right now, my main goal is to try to be completely off grid on my house. And the longest we've gone, of course, is 5 days here in March without grid power, probably a little longer than 5 days, 5.5 days. But the 12,000 XP is doing wonderful. It is powering everything. It doesn't need to switch to the grid for extra power. It provides all the power I need. And this is version 1. There's actually a version 2 now. And I think the difference in version 2 is you can get extra power during the day when the sun is shining. So this system right here produces 12,000 watts day or night. But the new version, I think during the day, if you have solar power, it can do 16,000 during the day and 12,000 at night. And I believe they've actually dropped the price. I think I paid about $2,500 for this. And this may be under $2,000 now for the version 2. I know it's dropped in price. I'll put a link down in the description below. But this system has been working great for me. And later on down the road, when I do the farm side, I may move this one to the farm side and buy a new version 2 to use over here at the house. But that'll be later down the road. But I'll leave links to the 12,000 XP, the EG4 batteries, SunGold power battery, I can't even say it, the Yixiang Energy DIY battery kit, which is actually, I really do like that battery. And I've got another one that I'm going to be building here pretty soon that's going to be a little bit different. But I'll try to leave links to this down in the description below. And if you guys buy anything through the links, of course, I do get a small commission on that. And it does help my channel, and it does help me purchase some of this stuff so that I can make my system even better. But anyway, I think that's it for this video, guys. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video, or at least I hope to.